Right now, my husband and I are talking about Jack again. We are still in the training process because Jack is a young man now by dog years, I guess, from what science says. I could be wrong nowadays.
Basically 2 years old.
But yes, he's 2 years old, and now he is testing the limits of his boundaries. And we have let him extend his boundaries. So, I mean, we're not as restricted on him in his movement around the house and around the yard. But because he is so fast, if he doesn't come when we call him, then he is outside his boundaries. So he is always trying to go out into the woods, out into the forest, and I'm sorry, people, but country living, you have animals that can harm your dogs, your cats, even make them very sick. So it's not that I want to confine where he goes. Until he has enough built up memory that this can cause harm, then he, but he's defiant. He's like a teenager, and he's stubborn on top of it all. It's like raising...
Teenager, 14.
Yeah, he's a teenager. And it's like raising our kids all over again. Except there's no other boys or girls involved or drugs. So we're good. And gangs.
Better not be on drugs.
And gangs. I was going to ask people, how do you think gangs are so successful? What is it about gangs that makes it so hard to pull them apart? I'm looking at my husband here.
No, don't.
I did. I turned the camera.
The attention.
No. Is there one family ethic? One family ethic that they stand by that increases their numbers, keeps the crime happening, makes it profitable for the crime to happen. Working together. I got your back, you got my back. That's it. We are family, it doesn't matter if we got the same mama, papa, it doesn't matter. Well, when you were on the fringe of being in gangs in Texas, you had each other's backs, right?
Yeah.
And every once in a while, somebody new would come in, want to be a part of your gang or whatever. And there you go. And that's how all these things operate. This is how they explode into an undefeatable force. At least that's what they tell themselves. But there are a lot of people who don't want to get into these gangs, right? You're one of them. I'm one of them. A lot of my family's one of them. But you still can't tear apart these gangs because even though you don't want to be with them, you're not with anybody else either. But say some bad crime was happening in our area, because we do have a prison not far from here, a couple miles away. But say some stuff was happening here to Dennis and his family. Would you have his back? If something was happening here, do you think he'd have your back?
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, because that's part of our family. It's part of our community. It's our connection. It's the one thing that can keep us alive through some of the worst stuff. Well, that is the same mentality gangs use. sometimes those gangs get so big, they tear each other apart in competition with other gangs. And nothing good but death comes of that.
I agree with you.
So as long as people can think about that kind of thing and see it for what it is, all this propaganda, see it just for what it is, and go back to being you and taking care of your neighbors. Because even if I didn't like my neighbors, if somebody messed with my neighbors, they messed with my family, my neighborhood, my community. And I didn't have to like my neighbor to stand ground with them and say, guess what, you can't do that here. How are we going to teach all these immigrants this? We have a very short window to do it in. Huh?
Look, didn't see him on the porch, but he's still sitting right there. Or laying right there.
Yeah, he's got his collar on, so he's mad. And he's going to stay close to the house. And you know, he's like, you're going to take it off, and I'm going to be back outside, and I'm going to go do what I want to do.
No, you're not.
Yeah, we're hoping. Fingers crossed again. All right. Granny out.